Hello, 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 and welcome to Focus on Liberia. I think you heard the song there, Imama. And what a great way to start this Sunday show by saying Imama to the one up there. Some call him Glepo, some call him Yeswa, some call him Gala, some call him Deadweather. Whatever name you call him, we say Imama. And welcome to the opposition perspective with Robert Moncio Kpadeh. Some call him the general, some call him the rabbi. Whatever name you call him, we say, Robert, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Jai and Asani. I give you my salute. It's a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to come and talk about country, talk about issues that matter to us. So it's great to be here. Promises to be a very insightful conversation. I hope it's going to be. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
And who can be part of that conversation besides the political bulldog of our time, Mr. Asuni Sie? Mr. Sie, there you have the general.
The general is here. I'm excited. He's a friend. Intellectually speaking, he is buoyant, and it's always an opportunity to have him here. When it comes to the issues that matter for our country, Liberia, he's relentless. He's not lazy intellectually. He's always on time whenever we call on him. I'm not saying these things because he's here and part of the discussion, but that's exactly who he is. He cares about Liberia, and he brings his fortitude and tenacity to the international discourse. So that is why I am happy to have him. Folks in cyberspace, welcome to yet another exciting edition of the Opposition Perspective with Robert Moncio Kpadeh here at Focus on Liberia. The program comes on every other Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. GMT Liberian time. If you are wondering the issues we got all set here for Robert to discuss and for us to quiz him on, let me bring them to you one by one. Issue number one, Mo Ali's arrest and incarceration, and I may ask, his invitation also by the Liberian National Police. We have a few questions there. Rabo will talk us through that. Issue number two, Representative Yeke Koluba's suspension by the House of Representatives. That one is political, somebody may say. Also, issue number three, printing of LD 48.7 billion banknotes by the Liberian government. The House of Legislature have given their approval. We are awaiting on the Senate. Should we print all this much money given what we know that happened to the first money? Last but not the least, issue number four. Where are we on the by-elections? As you know, this going election, I think bombing, Grand Jida and Sino, maybe some other counties, they elected senators, so creating vacancy. Our laws requires that I think after 90 days, the Mombian election. Where are we? Well, we will talk about that. Let me now turn things over to my partner, Dennis. Yeah, I'm set, Dennis.
The whole concept of an opposition perspective is very key, right? And at some point, we have the press secretary, the deputy press secretary, to the president of the Republic of Liberia, Mr. Smith Toby, coming here for over 14 times, giving us the perspective from the government on how things are unfolding. And the general saw this, and you know, generals love to go to war. So he decided that and said, well, why don't we have the opposition perspective and focus on Liberia being who we are? Decided to grant him this platform to say, tell us from the opposition side how things are doing. So we are excited to go through these issues one by one. Robert, how are things in Monrovia? In fact, how is it going now with this COVID? Are people wearing masks? How is it? Oh, no COVID in Liberia. What is the story?
Well, I can't speak to that with any authenticity because pretty much what I do see across Monrovia when I drive around, people kind of slack a little bit with respect to the measures. I'm not sure the Ministry of Health and Anfield is kind of emphasizing the need to continue the preventative measures. I know I do wear masks when I go to class to teach. I know I do demand my students to wear masks. I know I do adhere to the measures. I think the country generally, the people generally have been doing good with trying to follow the measure, and by that, I think there is not alarming rate of transmission in the disease. Now, I don't know the stats right now, and again, the Ministry of Health, I don't recall when they informed us via message or through the regular MICAT interview with respect to stats, with respect to transmission, with respect to those that have been killed. I don't know that, but I don't think, as a look, COVID has, from a medical perspective, any great toll. It might be around. I don't know how many people are ill right now, but I think we stay until COVID is finally wiped away and defeated. We still need to respect the protocols. We still need to be preventive. And when I go to class, I go with masks. I ask my students to wear masks because I think COVID is not going yet. It's a very dangerous virus. It's a killer virus. It has caused us a lot of damage globally, nationally. So we have to do everything to kick it out. So
thank you, Robert.
So far so good is the way forward.
Thank you. And to all you out there, COVID is still real. Remember to observe the protocol. I have my marks here. And with all of us working together, we can beat this. Mr. Sie, let's get into the issues. And we want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. This is focused on Liberia. We are with Mr. Robert Moncio Kpadeh with the opposition perspective.
Thank you, Dennis. Let's bring in our first issue, and I'll remind our listeners we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Issue number one, an opposition figure in person of Mo Ali. He is the Secretary General of the Opposition Unity Party. Was invited by the Liberian National Police for a Facebook post in which he talked about consequences that may come the way of the National Election Commission, given what he classified as a ploy. So he was invited, and subsequently, all the leaders in the political, the opposition CPP, they went to the police headquarters with him, and he was invited again. Justice Minister issued an order that this guy should be released, but the folks at the Liberian National Police, I'm not sure they listened to him. So he spent some time there. That is the issue. We want to bring it to you, Robert. In our democracy, freedom of speech is cardinal, it's vital that people have the free will to express themselves. The issue of Mo Ali Facebook post, is that something you think warrant an invitation from the Liberian National Police? Let's start with that.
Absolutely no. And I say to you, it was reprehensible. It was wrong. It was unwarranted to invite Mo on a sentence he expressed on Facebook. Look, I tell you, the funny matter construct and foundation of democracy is free expression. All right. For the government to invite someone because a person expresses a comment on Facebook about some concerns, that they have about how the NEC, the National Election Commission, is proceeding with respect to a particular candidate or a particular legislative issue about. It's just so shameful. It's just so shameful. It reminds us of the days that our country witnessed repression, oppression, and the draconian trappings. All right. Mr. Mo issued no threat. He posed no threat from a security perspective. He expressed himself and expressed his frustration over the way the network proceeded. For Mr. Mo to be invited as though he has said something that threatens the security of the state, it's just pretty shameful. And look at the conundrum that will ensue when they invited him tonight. All right? The government
Mr.
no evidence whatsoever.
We'll get into the details. We'll get into the details. Mr. Kpadeh, we'll get into the details. Is there any line that anyone can cross in the expression of this free speech?
Well, perhaps, yes, but with respect to what he said, I don't see the line that was crossed. The man spoke as a politician. He is a politician, and he said to NEC, look, if he cannot sort this matter out and certificate the man based on the instruction of the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. And the man was speaking in the ambit of the law. He was speaking in the parameter of the law. We should respect the Supreme Court verdict because the Supreme Court is the highest arbiter of justice. All right, nothing undo the Supreme Court ruling. So if the Supreme Court said, "Next, you should go now ahead and certificate the man," and then the next will not cooperate or will stonewall because of politics. All right, and political communication coming from the Ministry of Justice, coming from elements of the Ministry of Justice. All right, next was wrong, and we have to be very careful in this country because electoral matters are conflict sensitive matters. All right, when people feel cheated and defrauded, all right, and denied, when there are irregularities and flaws in election, all right, there is possibility that situation or scenario could trigger conflict. And when conflict is triggered, of course, you know, there could be war. We need to protect the peace of this country. We need to be respectful of the law as government, as citizens, as opposition. All right? The next to allow itself and proceed as an independent institution.
No, that's understandable, Mr. Kpadeh. That's understandable, and we'll get to why, because the question was asking whether there can be any line whatsoever. So we have the statement on the screen there. Mo Ali said, "Dear National Elections Commission, we understand the ploy. That is, you have something under your sleeves, but try it and you will see what is going to be the end result." Do you see this as a threat?
This is not a threat. This is a political statement. This could mean a political consequence. This could mean where we will rally and have a civil rally before the next. We will take civil action. This is not security. Now, to be able to decipher as a whether someone like Mo Ali poses threat in the comment he expressed is to look at Mo Ali's history, his record.
And how do you look at that record if you don't call him to ask him?
No, you don't have to call him. The man's a public figure. You don't have to call him because to call him is a sense of is a repressive, create a repressive aura. All right, because in the first place, you should not be calling people because they express yourself, and there is no law that says you cannot express yourself and express your frustration and your disagreement and your dissent. There's no law that says that. All right,
the general,
the Camara law passed in the law. All right, it's very unequivocal about free expression. All right, so there's no threat in that statement. The man spoke simple English and very political language he used. All right,
the general, let me call your attention to something. I know you say it's a political statement, no threat, but it was on March 1st that he made a statement, and just around the same time, we saw petrol bombs, being thrown at the Associate Justice Namwe resident, the National Election Commission, and vehicle got burned. And I'm talking about the same Mo Ali, because you can't play double standard here. Let me bring you something that Mo Ali said some time ago when he was in government, and let us read that. This is Mo Ali. He writes, "It's only in Liberia when people make reckless comment and statement, the CDC and others said they should not be responsible for said comments or statement." That's Mo Ali. Mo Ali again. "You were expelled from Cotton University for criminal behavior and rudeness. You will never be a professional. I wish you success in your quest for asylum in the USA, Mr. Criminal Vendela Patrick." And let me give you some context here. Vendela Patrick was one of the organizers of this protest, to bring the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration down, I believe. I think it was April 12th kind of protest. So this is Mo Ali in opposition saying to Mobile Malu, you can't just make reckless statement and think people will now hold you responsible. I think his statement was reckless. Do you not see that?
I don't think his statement was reckless. Tell me how. How is the statement
because he issued a threat?
Is it because 3 or 4 days, after 3 or 4 days, there is a coincidence of somebody throwing petrol bomb, somebody reportedly throwing petrol bomb at the House of the Justice?
Why do you call it a coincidence, Mr. Kpadeh?
It's a coincidence. It's a coincidence.
How do you know that?
Are you supposing or are you saying directly?
I'm saying that's coincidence. All right, based on what you just said. All right, because if you said because the man made that statement and 3 days later or 3 days after, somebody allegedly throw petrol bomb at the Justice House and at night, Look, long before that situation, 4 auditors died. People have been killed. There is an issue with a concern about how the EPS fellow died. All right, the parents are crying. They are wailing and reeling. They are saying they have conveyed the suspicion that they hold the circumstances, and questionable atmosphere under which the son died. I'm surprised how the government is not taking security, taking that security serious, and want to take the Mo Ali comment serious. Now, like I said again, to be able to make such determination is to be able to look at the person record. Does Mo Ali have any notoriety record? He doesn't have any notoriety record. Has he been involved with military operations? No. Has he been involved with insurgency? No. Is he a security?
Vandela Patrick was never involved with such. I don't know of Momba Molu also being involved with any insurrection in Liberia, but he said their statements were reckless and they needed to be held accountable. That was when he was in government.
No, but listen now. Listen, this is 2 different things. I know that Mo Ali, I know that Molu, all right, and the CDC, all right, led a campaign calling President Sirleaf at the time to step down, the Edding Step Down campaign.
Yes.
All right? Okay. Not only that, they just said that they mobilized, they went to market.
And you didn't see that as political then? You didn't see that as political then, Robert?
That was beyond politics. Because there were more trust. Because when you begin to go to market centers and threaten market women, not to convene in the market centers because of XYZ, they're a more than political statement. All right? But have we forgotten Mobile Molu? When the government took power, the same year the government took power, Mobile Molu said to the world that the opposition community, all right, had plotted to assassinate or eliminate Mr. Weah. What did the government do? What did the NSA do? What did the police do?
They did nothing.
And threatening and security manner statement, all right? Then what more Ali said? Now with respect to the Vandala Patrick, I would take it to be maybe war versus war. I mean, young men trying to do the stuff. I don't understand even the nature of the things and historicity. I can speak to that much, all right? I think like we all have our right to express ourselves. I think Vandala Patrick and the rest of the guys had the right to express themselves. But when you begin to say, well, a government must step down, and not what they're saying the government should step down, but you begin to go into market centers, all right, and go to university campuses and public school and threaten kids to leave because there will be a riot to compare the president to step down. And only based on allegations. Then that's a different issue.
I think they were calling the masses to action. They were calling the masses to action that, hey, we have a peaceful protest coming and we just want you to know in case you wish to participate.
Action by going into the market center and threatening them and sending talks in there and driving them away. So that's how you do that. The people have the right to that was what happened at the time with the Edding Step Down campaign. That was what happened. You cannot go into marketplaces, go into business places, go into and threaten people and say, if you come here to school, there will be consequences because we're about to ensure that this process. That's a different thing. More Ali said.
Mr. Kpadeh, let us not try to slice and dice it, right? Let us not look at one as free speech and look at the other as not free speech.
Which specific? Right. Which one?
Right. Let's look at Vandela Patrick. Right? Vandela Patrick.
What was his statement?
Mo Ali said was reckless. Vandela Patrick was being arrested, right? And you can see his post. Now,
do we know what was his? Can you say what was his statement? What was Vandela Patrick's statement? Can you say what was it?
And do you think which statement will warranted an arrest that Mo Ali will call reckless? So what I'm trying to get at.
Listen. I don't want to make conclusions here. I want to understand what statement specifically. Because look, I'm a respecter of people's rights. I'm a free thinker. I express myself very openly, and I think people should be given the right to express themselves openly. All right. So if I know Vandala Patrick is a very vibrant young man, very animated, love his country, and he stood up to miss governance and miss rule, and I respect him for that. So I don't know which specific statement he made that Mo Ali was responding to. All right, and I don't defend. I think I'm going to defend
More Ali was specifically attacking him because of his role in what Patrick's and others had considered a peaceful protest against a regime they felt that was corrupt and was not meeting the needs of the Liberian people, and they felt that it was in their right, constitutionally speaking, for them to assemble peacefully under the law. But More Ali saw that as a threat to his party that was in power, to his government. And so he made that statement. And similar thing can be said about Mamba Molu. Mamba Molu was, he and the CDC at the time were on the attack. When I say attack, political attack, I mean, they had to speak tough. You are speaking tough. Yes, More Ali speaking tough, and you call that freedom of speech. There is no threat whatsoever. It's a political statement. These guys have made political statement. Robert, More Ali said they needed to be held responsible. So why can't More Ali also be held responsible for statement he made? For at least he was just invited.
Look, let's put this in context. First, number one, I do not fault people for expressing their view and expressing their dissent. All right? I come from a record of advocating for strong dissent, and I've been in the advocacy of resisting wrong and misrule. So it most said that the people were wrong for expressing their side and expressing their dissent, and a disagreement about how the state was being governed. I disagree with more. All right? Now, two wrongs don't make right, because Mo have said that doesn't suggest that what the regime is doing is right. I'm saying to you, I don't see the need to invite the man. I don't see the need to throw the man in prison, because the man said to the net that if you cannot, if you try to play politics, and you should not be playing politics. We want an independent net. We want a professional net. You should not be playing politics with election results. You should not be taking dictates and instruction from the Justice Ministry. When the court has ruled in this matter, you cannot be doing that. But if you remain hell-bent to do that, there will be political consequences. Now, in writing and whatever, only people can be the one to interpret what you write.
Now, all right, General, let's bring another something in here. Robert, hold on there.
I think this exposes how intolerant the regime is. And again, the regime continues to create unnecessary spectacle. At the end of the day, what happened? So tell me what has happened to the matter.
So what spectacle are you talking about? Making More Ali a brand new hero on the Liberian political scene? Is that what you're talking about?
This is auto share stupidity. You don't have to do that. So on the first
let's look at the action of the CPP leaders. Robert, hold on, Robert. Let's look at the action of the CPP leaders. More Ali was invited. More Ali was invited, Robert, and you saw the Joe Bwaka, Bernie Nayure, what's his name, Cummings, and all these political leaders in the CP, Nyombli Kanga Lawrence, and they drove to the police headquarters. What was the essence of them being there? So you think they were not setting a bad example? They should allow the police to do their work, right?
So they didn't stop, but that didn't stop the police from doing their job. Solidarity happens in politics. The CPP is a conglomeration of political party, collaborating. And so if you pick a man who is a senior executive in the CPP, nothing wrong with Mr. Bwaka going to show solidarity. Insofar he does so respectfully in keeping with the law. The police had not reported to UMSF that they went there, they misbehaved, they undermined the police interrogation. No, they were well behaved. They just accompanied the gentleman to listen to what went on. Nothing wrong with that. Let me remind you, Mr. Weah, many times, Mr. Weah, when people from the CDC, all right, were picked up for things that they did or stuff like that, for caution and stuff like that, Mr. Weah show out. Mr. Weah show out.
And that's the point. That's the point we are making.
Kochi, he shows a director, I think for Costa. He's been doing that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So if you were here and I went to the police, what is wrong? I'm going to show solidarity because you are my friend, actually.
Mr. Kpadeh, and that's the point we're trying to make, right? The CPP being an alternative and just go into the playbook of the CDC when they were in opposition that, hey, CDC did it too, we're doing it. But here's the point I want to make on that. We see a More Ali, an executive, is being invited, and we see the entire elite or the group, the leadership of the CPP, rallying the support and going there. But have you seen the girls that are being raped constantly? Some are being arrested falsely. Some have been pulled over by the police, and they are in the police station, languishing in the police station every day, some without any justification. When was the last time that we see a crowd of that magnitude going to their aid to say this is wrong? But
and
anytime,
Dennis, if I may add, then let me interrupt you. If I may add to what you're saying, thank you for making that point, Dennis. The 4 auditors, the opposition believed they were murdered. I have or share similar sentiment. I wanted to see the opposition leaders going somewhere to the institution of law and demanding accountability. But one of their own is touched, and they are all at the police headquarters. But when the 4 auditors were murdered today, no accountability. Even the 3 missing boys, they are not loud enough. They just made empty statement on social media because the opposition does not have a website. I want a vibrant opposition, Robert. This is what I'm making the point. We didn't see the leadership of the CPP organized and demanding justice and accountability. But for their own, they are doing it.
I agree with you.
And not only that, he interrupted because we see the girls, right? The girls,
you are running for me, right?
The little girls that are being abused every day.
Look,
and then because of the stigma, they drop the case because nobody is doing anything for them.
Look,
I said one elite being touched, and then the other elites are there.
I agree with you 110%. We need a vibrant opposition that address itself and stand up for the people and speak for the people. They should do that. I was frustrated. I was disappointed that the opposition did not do so well on the issue of the 4 auditors. My letter institution, the OPRN, we spoke. I went on the radio. I wrote a lot of statements. All right? They didn't do that. Look at the injustice that the young man, Archie Pumper, was subjected to. I didn't see a lot. I don't see that kind of energy and vitality from the opposition camp. Mind you, I don't speak for the CPP. I don't speak for them. All right, I'm an opposition person, but I don't speak for them. I think they have the machinery in place to speak for them. I give an opposition view, not totally in representation of them, but as an opposition person and a critical thinker. All right, I agree with you. We need to be able to show similar care and similar mentality and spirit and vitality against injustice in the society, no matter who is concerned. I think, again, you're right on the issue of the rape. I think we needed to see people. I know people condemn. We didn't go there. But to be frank, did we see the opposition leaders themselves there? There were opposition people there. All right? I went there and there were other leaders of opposition there. So maybe we needed to see where someone like you, you can understand. Hey, doctors were there. Okay, but I think they need to be involved. So I agree with you. We want a vibrant opposition because you are a government waiting. So your job now is to begin to resist the ills in society and the excesses and the abnormalities, and you can't do that in a biased way. So when you turn out for Mo Ali and other people, you should also turn out for a little girl being raped in Swanee.
Exactly. You should turn out for we agree on that.
We agree on that.
Yeah, we agree on that.
I want a very vibrant, tenacious and very strong and vibrant and fearless opposition that will stand against the excesses in this country. I think Mr. Weah is getting a lot of pass because the opposition is not standing.
And concluding on that,
that kind of mentality and energy. So I agree with that.
And concluding on that, when Mo Ali was finally released, what did we see?
But I am not guilty of that because the
party leaders
do what I have to do.
When Mo Ali was finally released, the party leaders got together and they were drinking beer, they were drinking stout, they were celebrating,
and they were live. They were live drinking beer. They celebrated.
Drinking stout.
What did that happen?
Well, it happened the very day he was released. I think it was on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Darius Dillon went live. And let me give you context here. Darius Dillon went live. They had beer. They have Mo Ali, and you can go on Darius Dillon page now, and maybe I'll try to find it, or when I finish making this statement. Dillon went live. They were drinking beer, and they were celebrating. But Archie Pompon is in pain. I didn't see the opposition in drove there to identify with him. Maybe a few of them did. I think I saw the video some time ago, DeLong going there. But talking about the opposition, and we shouldn't make it about only Archie Popon, but the point is that they got together, they were celebrating when our people are languishing in abject poverty. These guys were having a get-together drinking beer, Robert. Is that the opposition we want?
No, but listen now. Our people, listen. Let's be honest, comrade. Look, I didn't watch the video. Again, maybe this was just a gathering. Did you see Boycott there? Did you see Cummings there and Yombly there?
What does that mean? Does it mean these are the level-headed in the CPP and they won't do anything?
No, so maybe that's a group of young people. Don't forget now, Moad is a young man.
Is DeLong a young man? Senator DeLong, is he a young man?
Yeah, man.
Are you saying we shouldn't take this guy too seriously because they are young?
No, not that. So, but again, when people come from prison, I mean, let's be frank. Maybe it was just humanize the process. They may return from prison. He was subjected to all kind of terror. He was being harassed and intimidated. So maybe he returned from prison and kind of to give him life. And friends came together to say, "Oh, let's drink some water and beer." I don't see anything wrong with that. Look, above all else, we are human. We've got life. We got friends.
All right, Robert, let's go to our next issue.
To do what we have to do. We can't fight the opposition for that. People come together to say, "Well, we happen to see you come back." Maybe it would have gotten worse. It would have gotten worse. So they say, "Why are you back? Let's just cheer you up, cheer you up." I'm not sure that anyway. I mean, it's something.
I don't think that's the kind of picture we want to see from our leaders drinking stout openly because one of their own elite class member is out. I wish that same celebration when Archie Pompon came from hospital, all bandaged up, we could do something. But let's go to our next issue. That's the suspension of.
Yeah, but before I go there, but
let's move on.
Oh, okay.
Let's move on. This whole idea of beer stout drinking, celebrate, but that's another story. Yeka Koluba was suspended. They say he insults the president. Robert, on the whole, this whole Yeka Koluba got a bipartisan suspension. I think you read what I read. What do you make of it?
In the first place, look, I'm not one of the guys who support vulgarity, who is so combustible. Whatever the case
Robert
is.
Not combustible? I said Robert Moncio Kpadeh is not combustible?
Well, I think I'm not. I think I'm just a buoyant guy. I'm a forceful guy. I mean, I emphasize my word. I speak with a lot of energy. I'm animated.
It's the passion.
With passion. I mean, I'm not vocal. You've interviewed me many times. I'm not vocal. But again, people are different. But let's look. For me, I like to take the good or the wrong. Look, I don't know how this legislature mustered the courage to suspend Yeka. But forget about the bad language, the vocal language, and the combustibility. Let's look at the issue that Yeka raised, often raised. Let's look at the issue of transparency in this country. Then look at the issue of governance in this country. Then look at how the legislature, the House, is colluding and conniving with the executive and how it has subjected itself to the whims and caprices of Mr. Weah, all right, to perpetuate misrule in this country. All right, how the House, is derelict and defaulted and betrayed the people, all right, in representing their aspiration. Look at what happened in a few days. The House passed a resolution, all right, to give the CBA authority to print $48 billion Liberian dollars. Is printing money the solution to fixing our economic problem? No. All right. What informed that decision? Were there open session? Did they call experts to talk about the economic issues in this country? Did they consider the issue raised by Cole that there should be a need for further probe into how the 16 billion was squandered and the 25 million issue, the debacle of the 25 million under the guidance of Tua? The court recommended that. So
Mr. Kpadeh, we'll come to the printing of money.
That skipped session, all right, to follow the president on his tour, counter tour, and skip session and deny and abandon the duty of the Liberian people. All right? They are
Mr. Kpadeh,
disreputable, they are dishonorable, and so all Yeke does is stay in the chamber and shout aloud. Because do the people that deserve respect in the first place when they connive and colluding against the people? The legislature should parlay
Mr. Kpadeh,
in politics, in French. Let me let my point there. Let me let my point there. Parlay for the people.
We'll come to that point.
I don't think anybody should be suspended, because what you do ultimately, you deny the people of district number 10 that the men represent should be suspended with all pay because the person disagree with the president, or because the person expressed strong dissent against the president, or because the person is not a crime.
Mr. Kpadeh, let's call it as it is. It's not about disagreeing with the president. It's not about being vocal. It's about insulting, using foul language. That's what they are suspending him for. That's what I want you to speak to.
Well, but I just told you earlier, I don't support foul language. I don't support vulgarity. However, I don't think considering what freedom is and free expression is, all right, people a man should be suspended for that. All right?
But should he be held accountable in any way for the foul language he uses?
Well, but look, come on now, gentlemen, let's be careful. You know, because we just start for free expression.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Well, okay, what is the danger? What is the danger of the foul language? I don't know the foul language we're talking about, but what is the danger of the foul language to the governance of our country and to the survivability of the state?
Robert, and I will tell you the danger, if you don't mind, the general, then I will tell you the danger. The danger is setting a precedent and a bad example for young people who are involved in the political process, telling them that the best will let me learn, Robert. Telling them.
I want the foul language. Let me know the foul language specifically, please.
No, I was just saying the danger in what Colobar does by insulting, and even the manner in which he conducts himself because of disagreement. It is telling the young people of Liberia who are paying attention to politics heavily in Liberia that when you have a disagreement with anybody, don't conduct yourself like Robert Moncio Kpadeh. Conduct yourself like I do. Insult the person anywhere, anytime.
But
that is not healthy.
I just told you in my introduction, I do not support. We talked about this thing before, Anthony. I just said to you, I do not support, because that's not my
And
style.
I believe you, Robert, but do you not think that this kind of behavior is reprehensible? It does not speak well of us as a people?
No. Look, the house can take other actions against the man. The man can be shamed. There can be a statement to shame in Chimas. Why do you suspend him for 1 month? Look, why things are happening? That horse has not mustered the courage to invite the president. All right? I said to you the other day, Mobile Modi, the chairman of the CDC, came out and said, Mr. We are traversing the war. All right? And lobbying for money, generating money in our country. And when he gets the money, the money is diverted in your personal use. Grave enough. It amounts to expropriating the presidency. All right? It amounts to abusing power. That legislator did not muster the courage to take action. A lot of things are happening. All right? They have not called to it. So look, I'm saying to you, what the man, I don't support this man style, his vocal style, and his combustible style, but you gotta believe that's not sufficient to suspend him. I think he can be reprimanded. Shame alone means a lot. So what about, because first look at the people who talking about this man and stuff like that. Do they have the moral standing? Do they have the moral standing to cast expression on the account? The people who betraying our cause. We have betrusted these people. Betrusted these people. Meaning we put our confidence in them. And look at what happened. They ate and abet misrule and misgovernance. How do you then expect, how such people expect to what? Generate respect even from the members? So the whole thing is a fiasco, it's a total mess. Why I don't support the combustibility style, I don't support the vulgarity, but in the same vein, I disagree.
General, let me tease your political thinking here. General, let me tease your political thinking here, if you don't mind. If you were the president and you get to know a member of the legislature is being suspended because that member insults you, will you want that kind of record on your political plate as the leader of the free country?
If he is suspended because of me?
Yes, he's suspended because of you, because he's insulting you. Is that something you will welcome? Does that reflect on you in any way? I'm teaching your political thinking here.
Yes, in the first place, let me say to you, a leader does not demand respect. A leader earns respect. And the way a leader earns respect from the citizenry is the way the leader conducts himself or herself and conduct the governance of the country. The things that happen in this country, all right? The level of corruption, the level of betrayal, all right? The way the president conducted himself in a very appalling way. The kind of things the president say in the street. He goes to the church. The commentary the president regurgitates in the church. Divide the people and exacerbate the people. The president sorted himself out for people to throw words at him. All right? However, I do believe he's a president. I do believe he should be respected. Even if he doesn't respect himself and conduct himself in a way to earn respect. It is the presidency. It is not we are. That presidency should be respected in the first place. Number two, I'll be frank with you. I don't really think if I wrote to the president, people will something like that in the first place because of where I would conduct myself. But look, I would be so much concerned about moving the country forward, lifting the people up, getting work done. All right, and I'm not sure a legislature.
Robert, my question I'm asking is: this action by the House, does it prove that the legislative branch of government is an extension of the executive?
Oh, that's what you mean? But
that's the question I'm driving at. Yeah.
The legislature, the legislature is an extension. It's a dedicated to the rules and capacity of Mr. Weah. You know, Mr. Weah wanted justice to be out. He there called the Senate. He threw some money to them, gave them instruction. You know how to pass budget in a 4G way. Just 2 weeks ago, you and myself, when the days where section was skipped, section were abandoned, and why? Because they ran behind the president's sick offensive at the highest level. All right. So I mean, frankly, the legislature has not helped us and not helping us. Look,
Mr. Kpadeh,
independent and effective, it will not take instruction from Mr. Weah. A legislature that takes instruction from the presidency, that legislature is an extension of the presidency or extension of the executive. So yeah, to answer your question, it is an extension. And I say this broadly and fearlessly because there are streams of evidence, clinical evidence to show and prove how they take instruction from Mr. Weah. And
Mr. Kpadeh, if you say that, I don't know how does that reflect on the opposition, because the people you call the extension of the executive, they are predominantly from the opposition bloc. How do you reconcile that?
Not in the House. In the House, they're not predominant. In the Senate, I could believe that. But look, when we talk about the deficiency of the legislature, we do not want to talk about or raise our voice against people from CDC or other parties. We are even more, in fact, we put more emphasis on, and that's why I just call few of the guys from the Senate that the House has passed this resolution granting these people to print money. I will expect that you will do due diligence, ask a high question, and do what is proper and appropriate. If you don't do that, it's a shame on you. And I will go wide and loud, better against you in a very scary way to expose it. I agree with you that we're in the opposition. All right, there is efficiency. The legislature out to copy itself, out to exert itself, and do what you have to do as opposition. All right, and I think we need to hear their voices louder on the issues that matter. I want to see who all voted over there.
Exactly.
If there is an opposition that voted, shame on the opposition. I don't think that opposition is compromised or she compromised. And with the Senate, we're looking to see what happened. But again, it's a shame.
There was a strong statement from
opposition. I don't think we have a opposition.
There was a strong statement from Dr. Bole to Mr. Koluba. But here's the question I want to ask you. In your response to Mr. CA, you imply that the president of Liberia conducts himself in a way that deserves for him to be insulted. That's what you imply in and that if you are president, you're not going to do that because you're not going to carry yourself in such a manner. You also said that most of those of you in the opposition, you critique your fellow opposition legislators, but you and Mr. Cummings have not been able to muster the courage to call Yeke to really refrain from all the insult. Mr. Cummings would say, well, Yeke has his way of doing it. Now I hear you deflecting Yeke's behavior and say, well, the legislators are XYZ or the president is conducting himself in such a way. When are you going to call Yeke to stop the insults and the way he carries himself as a legislator?
Look, long before this show, I'm on record. I have articles I've written condemning people. Everybody.
I'm talking about Yeke. I'm not saying people.
But from the beginning of the show, I just said to you, I don't support this.
No. It's one thing just supporting it. It's another thing of calling Yeke out. Have you done that?
Look, I am on record doing that. Not specifically calling her name, article, but all those who speak in a very hawkish, rude, and disorderly way to the presidency or to leaders in our country. Because I don't think you need to be vulgar. I don't think you need to be, to use foul language, all right, or to use inflammatories, all right, to disagree with people. I have not done that yet, but I've used some very strong words, but they're not inflammatories, all right. And I don't think Yeke should do that. I don't support Yeke. I condemn it, all right. It's not specifically because of Mr. Wuya. We should not be exchanging in such bravado. All right, in such a rude way, in such vocal way, on a cool manner. We should not. We can.
All right, folks. We will take a short break while Robert gets set at his end. We will take a short break and we will be right back. And you are watching the opposition perspective with Robert Moncio Kpadeh here at Focus on Liberia. I'm here comfortably seated, trying to do what I do a little best, right? Can I boast? And Dennis Ja, the well-rounded guy, is here. The guy who is keeping the wheels of Focus on Liberia turning. That's short break, and we will be right back. All right, folks, we were back with you here on our program, The Opposition Perspective, with Robert Moncio Kpadeh. Some call him the General, some call him the Rabbi. I call him Robert Moncio Kpadeh. He is comfortably seated, and we have been discussing issue number one, the Mo Ali's invitation, arrest, and incarceration by the Liberian National Police. And then we have also been discussing Representative Yeke Koloba's suspension. And our third issue that we will be discussing is the printing of 48.7 billion with a B Liberian dollar. They call it family banknote, based on a request from the Central Bank of Liberia. That bank that can't manage our money is asking for 48.7 billion. What happened to the 16? Some people are asking. What even happened to the $4 billion? Robert may be asking. What happened? And this guy wants us to trust them. But hey, the House of Legislature did not waste any time and they approved something. You want evidence? I have it for you. Right here. Liberia, House of Representatives passes resolution authorizing Central Bank of Liberia to print new families of banknote in the tune of 48.7 billion Liberian dollars. And also, folks, we have some issues here. The elections have ended, talking about the by-election. I know of Bombay County, Grand Gila, and Sano County to have elected individuals who were representative as senators, creating 3 by-election. There might be more, but these are the ones that I know of. Where are we? Because the law requires that after 90 days, there should be an election. Well, the first election that was held, right now, there are some that are yet to be decided. The courts and yet let me leave it. Rabbi is here, and we will talk about it. Let me bring in my partner, Dennis. Dennis?
Yeah, and we'll go there. I wanted to conclude on the insult because I want Robert to take just 2 minutes, 90, let's say 1 minute to respond to this, right? On the Yekes, this whole politics of insult, because Yekes insult is not in isolation. We see those we refer to on Focus on Liberia has party mouth talk show hosts. People are insulting, and when you insult, you get the crowd behind you, right? So this whole concept of insult, when we were growing up, what we call today man calls was like a taboo. Here now people celebrate those who insult.
Yeah, it's wrong.
And they have, I mean, where are we going with this? And what are we doing? Because if you don't insult, if you don't use the same foul language like other people, people think you are wimp, you are weak.
We cannot build a bellicose culture, a culture that is not respecter of civility, a culture where we can be courteous to people, a culture where we will be rude and we will be combustible and we will be hawkish. This is not a culture. This is not civility. I do not support it. I'm record again. That's an article I've written like almost 2 years ago, that we should deviate and discontinue this uncouth attitude of trading in insults. Let's disagree. We could be strong. Let's find the jargons to express ourselves. So I don't support people. You go to the microphone, you insult people. All right, okay. I don't support because someone did it from opposition, so you should, from the government, so you should do it. No, I don't think you should do it. I think it's wrong, it's reprehensible, and I think we need to distinguish ourselves in the opposition, because people in the executive or in the government, in the ruling establishment, proceed in a very horrible and distasteful and unpalatable fashion. Then we should do the same. Two wrongs don't make one right. I don't support it.
We agree
and
there again.
It's not nice. All right. You want to insult people. You want to throw. You want to throw diatribes at people. Inflammatories at people because you disagree with them. No. And I see people celebrate that. I don't celebrate that. All right. I do not celebrate that. It's
so
wrong.
Continue to call that.
We should reject it. We should discourage it. It's condemnable. This is not culture. This is not civility. We should not do that. And again, when we rise to public office, we are under obligation, all right, to set good example, all right? Because when you are a leader, all right, you must be worthy of emulation. How can you be worthy of emulation when you can manage your utterances, when you regurgitate messages that are so obscene, so bad?
Precisely. That was 1 minute.
I don't support it. It's wrong. Agree. I don't support it.
Thank you. Let's go to the printing of 48.7 billion banknotes. Putting that in context, at some point there was money shortage in our banks, and in response to that, the CBL requested that, hey, in order to solve the liquidity issue, let's print more money. Rabo, you did some economics. You even teach this stuff. Printing.
I have said over and over again, printing money is not the solution to a Liberia economic problem. We need to understand the iniquities, the excesses of our economic downfall. What plunged us down? Our banks became liquidated, meaning no money in the bank. What led to that? Where did the money go? We printed 16 billion. All right. There have been reports and allegations, all right, of banalities, corruption associated with the 16 billion. The Crow did some investigation and recommended to the government of Liberia, all right, that we believe there must be further probe into the entire transaction with respect to the 16 billion before anything can happen again or before you print another money, including the 25 million issue, all right? The legislature is under obligation to ensure that that recommendation works. Because before we begin to print money, we must put in place all of the methodology in place, all right, and safeguards in place to ensure that the economy is sound, but it thrives on property, and discipline and transparency. Because when we begin to face our economy, it's not about printing quantum of money or volume of money. The way we begin to face our economy is to employ transparency measure, is to employ accountability methodologies. All right? How do we print money? What informs the decision to print money? What is our size of our GDP? What do we need as a country? What can we manage? What quantum of money do we need? We have to match that by our GDP. All right, the gross domestic product, what we produce and what we can use. So all of those questions needed to be asked before you give the CBL. Secondly, this CBL, all right, has a dent. There is an issue of confidence crisis in the bank. People put their money in the bank, they go for their money, they can't get their money. Then because of that, the country or economy begin to experience what you call in economics and financial economy bank rush. Bank rush come about when people cannot find confidence in the bank, they go for their money, they can't get it. So they run and pick up, get the other one, and they will keep it on their back. You cannot, an economy cannot be managed in that fashion. Firstly, there must be transparency, there must be confidence, accountability. How did we derive or fall at the point where our people do not have confidence in the bank? What happened to the people money? We need to ask all of those questions. What happened to the 16 billion? What happened to the 4 billion? Those are economic questions that must be asked. We have to study the economics around the entire issue of printing money. We are printing for the 8 billion for what? All right. What empirical decision? What the right empirical decision to print 48 billion? Now, how do you establish all of that? Go to the core recommendation report, find a way to ask some questions, call specialized section, call former bankers, call CBL, former CBL bankers, call economists, call financial economists and analysts, so that there be, open forums, open session where people discuss the issue of our economy. Because printing money is not how you face the economy. We just saw 4 billion were printed, and the 4 billion came here, and it vanished with mystery. So if we print for the 8 billion, what guarantee do we have?
Welcome, and thank you for choosing 3.
Okay, what volume do we have? What confidence do we have? It will be used for the intended purpose. So I think the lower house, the House of Representatives, is in everybody's way. The House of Representatives did not even see what they approved. They did not see no specimen of the money. They didn't see the quality of the money. They have not asked a hard question. So how can you do money matter like that? I understand money should not be money matter and the print of money. Yeah, got national security implication. It can be done just like that. But given the historicity of the central bank and the recent history of thievery, vulnerabilities, and corruption, volumes of money disappearing in this country, we needed to proceed very meticulously, very vigilantly. But that is not the case. Again, that argues the point that we continue to make, that House of Representatives is disreputable and does not work for the people, does not parlay for the people, meaning it does not speak for the people. What it does, in effect, is to serve the political, social, economic cravings of Mr. Weah and the executive. They cannot say
Mr. Kpadeh,
economically, fundamentally, and professionally, why they lend their approbation to the printing of the money, and this is sad. Let me end on a note. I'm calling on the Senate to do what is best, not to rush into granting its approbation to printing for the 8 billion until all the answers, all the questions are answered, and we are clear that methodologies are in place, all right, to prevent the excesses and anomalies that attended previous transaction are cleared and prevented before we do that.
Yeah, Mr. Kpadeh, here is my question, and 2 things I want to touch on. Because we've heard and I've interviewed other economists talking about this issue. I mean, it's not the way, it's not going to solve our problem. But here is where I want you to come in on the opposition perspective, because it is not enough to be saying these things after the fact. What I want to see is an opposition think tank, an opposition economist coming out with a plan and not always being reactionary. Is there anywhere you can show me on how the opposition intend to fix this issue of the economy? Besides saying, well, we're going to do this, just platitudes.
No, this is not.
Specifics anywhere.
But I think
because we only
fairness,
responding when the government make this kind of boo-boo.
Dennis, this government is incorrigible. Incorrigible. Meaning this is not a government that is prepared to listen to people.
No, I'm not talking about listening. I'm talking about where can I find that this is the way the opposition can fix this issue.
But listen now, but I've read statements. All right, and I can refer you to a statement issued by the CPP and other stuff like that. But just you must start having this conversation as an opposition man. I have said to you, I've raised a fundamental question to you. How we derive our printing money? By what means we should print money? What are the methodologies, system methodologies in place? I'm talking economics to you. I'm not talking politics now. I'm talking what we must do before we derive printing money. All right.
Is it on the opposition website?
Well, but I did not speak for. I always said to you, Dennis.
No, what I mean is, we hear these talking points, reacting to government missteps. But what can we see if I'm an investor, if I'm the one who can trust the opposition has the alternative? Where do I go to find?
I mean, all fairness, I read most of the opposition. I just read the speech. I refer to the speech of former Vice President Boyka Akotito. You should read that speech. You should read the policy recommendation embedded in that speech on education. All right? The man took almost 5 pages of the speech to talk about how you can revive education as well as higher education. Nobody will take it because he's an opposition man. I'm saying to you, I use the word incorrigible. The government is very impervious to good ideas. So I've read recommendations. I don't know where it's at, but you can find it. And they are available. Call the opposition people, they will say to you. But personally myself, I refer you to my page. Go to the One People Revolutionary page. See the quality of writing I have done about governance in this country. Go there. On the bank issue, I've written on it. I have published something on it. All right? But beyond that, let's talk about the issue about the governance part about the country. I agree with you. The question is legitimate. There must be alternative. For the opposition to be able to present, all right, or project, not just allegation or being reactive. I don't believe in that. But for the most part, when we talk or when I talk or write, I'm more issue driven. My first presentation, I talk about all the issues that matter. Why is it wrong to then get people approbation in cash blanche to go pay for the rebellion? The historical issue about transparency and accountability. There is an issue about confidence lacking or eroded, in the bank. It has to be addressed. All right.
Correct. And Robert, one last thing on this money issue. One last thing. We have the opposition in the legislature, right? Good number of them. And they are the ones approving these things. They are the one issuing these resolutions.
Well, I think they are not in majority in the House.
Let me finish. So what does the opposition bloc punish these lawmakers when they go outside what the opposition people are recommending? Do you have a way of kind of sitting down with them and saying, look, gentlemen, this is the way to go in this kind of thing? Because here are the people who will advise you on what to do. Because whatever the executive want, they're getting it. And so why are we blaming the executive? Legislature,
I believe the opposition should do that. Don't forget, again, I cannot speak because I'm an opposition person, but I'm not in the executive or in the hierarchy or echelon of the leadership. All right? So
but you got to speak to that.
Do I think that there must be some measure in place to reprimand lawmakers or lawmakers who vote against the will and aspiration of the people, all right, and by extension undermine the interest of the opposition? Yes, it should be. There must be, and I think opposition people should be responsible enough to do what is right and not what is wrong. You cannot go and take money and pass and vote for a resolution and claim that you're opposition. You are not opposition. You are not. You are deceit. All right, and I don't respect those kind of people.
And the general, if I may add to what Dennis, the question Dennis just asked, do we have a CPP legislative caucus? If we do, is that caucus united? Is there a need for that? because it can be said over and over. Now, you have the resolution on the desk of the Senate. I guarantee you, they're going to approve it. Despite all of the warning signs you've given. Because at the end of the day, it's an envelope that is coming from the executive.
I think so. And look, I agree with you. There must be a firm, buoyant, formidable caucus, all right, emanating from the parties that comprise the CPP. And I think they should stand for the country. I think they should ensure that before an approval or approbation is given to CBL to print money, thorough things are done, vigilant things are done, measures are put in place, hard questions are asked, look at the core report, all right, and then understand the econometrics that will involve a decision to print money. All right, I told you I named all of that. You need to ask all the questions. The way we face economic problem in this country, in any country for that matter, it begins with economic discipline, meaning good economic governance, property, transparency, and accountability. All right? We take money and account for money. The way we spend, what they call structure, how we prioritize our cost structure. All right? The economic policies, are they impactful? Are they necessary? All right? Do we ask the question, why are we buying cars from inside the cost of $75,000 and $60,000? Why are lawmakers buying cars cost $75,000? Why do we pay a politician $15,000 and pay a teacher, all right, $200 when you take out tax, $150 and $160? This should be
Robert, I'm in agreement with you. Yeah. Let's hold it there. I'm in agreement with you. We have to bring in comments from our viewers and also take calls. You are on point, and I'm in agreement. And that is why Dennis brought it up earlier. Are there think tanks for the opposition, professionals who will look at the economy, give reasons, some stated reason why they shouldn't print money, and send this information to the CPP legislative caucus in the House and use the talking point or that statistics or that information why they shouldn't approve. We don't have that. Everybody is just going, riding their own train. That kind of opposition is not in unity. Today, the Republican Party, despite the massive defeat they received at the hands of the Democrat, they are united, opposing the Democratic Party. They didn't vote for the stimulus package. But we don't see that in Liberia. And this is what that kills my spirit about anything opposition, because the thing is not coordinated. I mean, Joseph Walker, who is the elder statesman, can he even call these people to a meeting? Look, let's have an opposition caucus, a CPP opposition caucus, all right, that will speak with one voice, that oppose anything that is not in the interest of the people. No, they don't have that. Dennis, we have to take some comments and calls here.
I agree. That should be done. All right, that should be done.
But can we just snip in one more issue and then we take the calls?
Okay. All
right. Mr. Kpadeh, what's going on with by-elections, right? Just and this we want to just take 2 minutes. For by-elections, we know that we read in the Constitution, Article 83, if the Supreme Court nullifies or sustains nullification of election of any of the candidates, for by-election, we say within 60 days, an election should be conducted to fill the vacant spot. As Sonny earlier talked about those election senators, like in the case of Representative Snow, now senator, there's a vacancy there. The Supreme Court or the Election Commission is still, held up with these elections, post-elections matters. If being past 60 days, even 90 days, and there are no by-election, what's the opposition saying? You have 30 seconds.
Well, so I can't espouse the opposition view with respect from the CPP, but I can say to you that we should have, look, you see, the thing is that we do not respect the laws in our country. You see, and you can't run a government, any sound governing system without respecting the laws of the country. If the law says 60 days, after 60 days, the next should be notified, and then there should be election held, or whatever they expect stipulated in the Constitution.
I think it's 90 days.
It's 90 days. I don't know whether the 90 days have elapsed. All right. But whatever the case is, I think we ought to respect the laws. How do we claim to be governing? All right, but at the same time, bastardizing, violating the law. So we need to respect the laws. And then again, when these force arise, the opposition has to muster the courage and be progressive and be active and come up and speak. All right. But a lot of issues about they talk about money here, no money here, no money here. But the contradiction is, you see the president convoy is pretty new every day, new cars every day, ministers buying new cars every day, lawmakers buying new cars every day, which defeat the argument that there's no money.
And Robert, I
think
just
there's
did
no
my
money.
calculation. Robert, I just did my calculation just for you to expand on it. Elections were held on December 8th. From December 8th to this time is past 90 days. The Constitution required 90 days.
There you go.
Well, all right. So we can go to the comments now and take some calls.
Why are we not holding the by-elections? All right. And when we don't do that, we deprive and deny the representation of those people in the different counties. All right. We need to do that again. But the system is a mess. It's a mess. You know.
And the opposition is Robert. The system is a mess. The opposition is asleep. The opposition is more focused on their own jobs, their own senatorial bids. If Darius Dillon, for instance, wants to be senator, I mean, the whole place is engulfed with fire. But now, I think Boto Kana and these people were even fighting, crying their own cry. People have become so, personal with these things now. The one that's supposed to be going by the rule of law, it is taking a backseat to the personal interests of the people.
This is unfortunate.
They make
very
big
unfortunate. And I think you should criticize them. And I think you have the platform to do that. You should criticize them because that's a very legitimate criticism. I just said to you that we need to be real proactive, very vibrant, very fasted to stand up and resist the wrong in the country. All right?
Because let's take calls.
If your opposition is not speaking against the wrong, who are you? Who are you?
Let's take some calls, Robert. Yeah, let's take some calls, Dennis. It been 110 days past the election because the Constitution requires 90 days. It's been 110 days so far, and we have no idea when these elections will be conducted. We are incomplete era here. All right, Dennis, let's take this first caller. Caller, your phone number ends in 8067. Your name and where you're joining us from. Caller, are you there?
Good morning from my end. I'm joining you from Australia.
All right. Somebody joining us from Australia all the way. Go quickly to the issue. You have a minute.
Yeah, you see, I want to comment on the Yeke Koluba issue. First of all, I want to condemn the way he sometimes conducts himself. But you see, my former principal used to tell me something is just a funny parable. He said the person that put poop in the mother doesn't get bad reputation. The person that takes the pencil to beat the poop in the mother, and the person will carry the bad name. That's what's happening to Yeke. Now, let's be honest and let's face the truth. What Yeke is going through under this administration, it is not fair. Yeke has gone through a lot. You myself live in the West here. You know what bullying does to people. You know what provocation does to people. Whenever people are being provoked too much, they're always on the defensive. And that's what's happening to Yeke now. Akara's Gray and the other people went ahead and suspend Yeke. For me, I like it because it will help him to calm down a little bit. But the same people you're talking about, you listen to Little Safoko insulting Yeke, that rebel behavior, that your stupidness. These are things that can inflict situations. And they know wherever they make these statements to Yeke, they can refer them to the president. So in as much as we don't want Yeke to be behaving the way he's behaving, this government as well needs to conduct itself and stop provoking Yeke. The same respect they give to Thomas Farah, the same respect they give to Akara's Gray, let them give Yeke the same respect, and let's see if Yeke keep behaving the way he's behaving now.
Thank you.
Everyone can talk to Yeke in the background, but they need to stop provoking Yeke. That's my point on the Yeke issue.
Thank
and
you.
to the printing of the money. You know, Mr. C, I will tell you this. We need to change the family banknotes, but the government needs to put in place some measures. I will tell you this. One of the biggest problems we got in our country, our government have not created a system that it will control the economy. The economy is in the hands of the business people, and those people don't care about the government, they care about what they want. And the reason why they get all the opportunity because our government officials believe in taking bribe. I was in Guinea when the late national content died, when the Fula people were controlling Guinea economy back then. They have process when you speak Fula, when you speak French, when you speak Mandingo, and the list go on.
Thank you.
And the president at that time, that is that got shot, took serious measure.
Thank you.
The commerce ministry need to step in and come down hard on the business people. They are the ones causing that inflation in the country.
Thank you for your contribution. We have a lot of callers.
Don't to put in place system. It's still going to be the same. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Call from all the way Australia. We appreciate your call there. Let's bring in the man, Aliyu. Aliyu, there are many of you. We're trying to stick it to 1 minute. Go ahead.
Why always doing the hard work? But anyway, let me just ask my question in there, and I hope you don't feel questions about this question. This is a common question in the Liberian community, and a lot of people really would like to understand this. It's clear, more indicating that you do understand the economic and political arena in the country. People are asked, have you ever served in government, and if you did, during your regime, some of these things that you are analoging here, what did you do to put things into actual perspective, actual reality? Because every government that has passed by has still left the Nigerian people in nothing but poverty and segregation. But as you answer my question, please be aware that I am not very familiar with the Queen's language, and I hope you try to dilute some of the jargon, the economic and political jargon, so that I'll be able to understand what you're saying. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The general, please note that question.
I didn't get. I want you to know that the question. I didn't hear him.
Yeah, I will let you know what he said. Let me bring in this other caller here. Caller with phone number ending in 5866. Your name and where you joining us from.
Yeah, this is Sable. I'm calling from Washington State.
Okay.
Seattle. Yeah. So my brother, thank you for the show. But my concern here is that your guests in studio, they're hearing me loud and clear.
Loud and clear, yes.
Yeah, just a little statement will follow with a little question. I follow all along when he was, you guys was questioning him, giving him some hard talks and other stuff. But here is my issue. I crossed border since 1991, January 26th. I tried to visit Liberia 3 times, which were 2006, 2008, and 2011. Those 3 times I could not spend 30 days in my country because my country was never developed. It was never up to the standard that I think I can go back home and have a better life. Well, here is this guy. Now I'm talking about, I'm hearing Boycott, I'm hearing all those people, and everybody that he's involved with, so they're calling themselves opposition. They were all in past government. And now, here is someone that just came to come into government just 3 years ago, while Liberia is 173 years old. And he's here stretching all his being, putting all this problem, this whole problem on one man. Is that how we go about? So my question here, what was the past, Boycott, the Yeke, the Urine, and what were they doing that caused Liberia to be behind today, the oldest country and the least country in Africa?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Then let's take
the last question.
Yeah, let me take the
we
this one. Yeah. John Maulo, quickly. We are running out of time here. You have a minute.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me on. Hey, listen, as far as the economic issue is concerned, I think we need to stop asking all the time what happened to the opposition. The opposition has given enough. Do you remember we had an economic summit before? Have you seen one of those things implemented? This government doesn't want to do. They want to pretend to be doing. They don't want to do the right thing. So stop asking what happened to the opposition, because it's not that the opposition not recommending. It's that this government not interested in listening. The second thing is that the Yeke issue. If your child keeps fighting you in the house, besides people telling him he's rude, somebody wise will ask, why is this child keep fighting the father? He's not fighting the mother. So something causes. These people keep disrespecting the lawmaker, as they all are, and he got nowhere else to report. So he goes out there to call the attention. And I think it's the Liberian people that should be standing up instead of asking for the opposition. Yes, everybody is an opposition. So let the Liberian people stand up for their lawmaker. Let the District 10 people stand up for their lawmaker, and then these people will behave to them. Opposition, the people not listening to them, because as soon as they talk, they say that opposition. But if the people stand, then the opposition can back them.
Thank you.
Now, with Mo Ali issue, Mo Ali made a conditional statement. He said, we see your plot if you do this. Well, Enoch Lawrence said, I will invite the police director and the security forces to answer for massive innocence there, and he went back the next day.
John Maulo, we have the statement of Mo Ali here. There's no if in it. There is no if. So don't clean it up. You want me to read it for you?
It is implied. Okay, if you do something, I will do this. If you do something, I will do this. You have to do the things before I will do it.
No, there's no if, there's no it's not conditional. He made a straight comment. But thank you. We are running out of time. We appreciate your call, John.
All right.
Yeah. Let me bring in the last caller here. Mr. Wetton Keta, quickly. We're running out of time, gentlemen. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so, let's be very honest that if we have to explain our country, whether you're opposition or what, we must be very honest, because you people preaching that this government is doing the wrong thing, and you guys are doing the very thing that you people preaching against this government. How can Mr. Kpadeh sit over there and tell me that Yeke is treating Yeke back? How can people say they want to change the trajectory of our country in a positive way when it's supposedly a Brandon Samu guy that has been convicted as a criminal? This is sad. You got to clean your house out. If you won't be clean, you got to be clean all the way to tell us this. What you guys can do for us after this administration. Because what I see around here is just the same politics of the day. Nobody's speaking truth. They're speaking lies to the people, acting that they are the Messiah. They were there before. They lied to the people. They stole from the people. They got the power. Then they come out again.
Wetton, there are instances where Yeke has been treated very badly. You remember when his wife was trying to travel to Ghana along with those babies, when they took the babies' formulas and the passport and all that. You remember that?
Do you know the character of Yeke? I live with Yeke in both minds.
I'm not defending Yeke. I'm only telling you that he's been treated badly.
No, because the way he carries himself.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Keta. We sorry we don't have much time, so please conclude, brother.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, we gotta stop the hypocrisy and be real to ourselves. Like, here is all we have. If we want to change things, we must first of all face the reality.
Thank you.
The reality is the reality. We can't between the politics of yesterday. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Thank you. Thank you. That was Wetton Keta. Let's bring in Rabbi Moncio Kpadeh, the man who is the chief discussant here, the opposition perspective with Rabbi Moncio Kpadeh. Robert, the first question that you did not get, the gentleman talked two things. He said, when you come, you must bring the language and the jargon down. You use too many words and not many people will be able to understand that. So he's appealing that you reduce that. And the second thing he said, you were in government. He wants to believe you serve. What record did you leave with for which you are sounding as though this is the first government in history that is doing everything wrong?
And you answer those questions, Robert, and then you conclude. We are way out of time.
I hope I can respond to two other persons. But look, in the first thing,
please do.
Look, is it suggesting that because wrong thing, quote unquote, wrong things happened yesterday, and wrong things happening today. No one should talk about it.
He's talking about double standard. He's talking about double standard.
Huh?
He's talking about double standard, that you didn't see it.
But there's no double standard. If anybody rational enough and listen to what I said yet, I have been very fair, I have been very transparent, and I spoke the truth. I had to make this agreement, but I do it very responsibly. All right, so I don't understand what he's saying. All right, look, people get aggravated, they get angry when people condemn or criticize the Weah regime. And we criticize the Weah regime not out of malice. We criticize the Weah regime because we see the abnormalities obtaining under the Weah regime. Corruption, you know, the deception, the sycophancy, and all these kinds of things. So there's the barrage of iniquities taking place. And you think we should not talk about it because we're in opposition. Now, personally, he talks about what I did when I was in government. Go and check my record what I did when I was in government. I was never president of the country. I was not in a major policy position of this country. But in little capacity I was appointed to, I worked diligently, and I walk away diligently, and the records are there. Clean hands. All right? The last, I wanted to commend the caller who talked about the economic forum, because I think it's a very important point. The economic forum that was held, sponsored by UNDP. That forum was held to discuss the Liberia economy and the way forward, to put in place mechanisms that will fix the spoils of the economy. Did the government adhere to all of the recommendations that came out? Gafon came from the opposition. He was there. He was there. Nat Ban was there. Samuel Jackson was there. Some of our best economists were there. And they came up with brilliant, erudite recommendations. Is the government adhering to them? So I thought that the caller before the last made a very sound point. And I said to you earlier that this government just hell bent on its own triangle. It is incorrigible. It wouldn't listen. It does things the way it want to get things done. And the repercussions, all right, are what we see today. All right? So it's defaulting, it's failing. And people think we should say, Kumaya to Mr. Weah, or Hallelujah to Mr. Weah for failing our country. When our people are subjugated to economic despair, security issues, people dying across the country, no redress, women raped, all right, no jobs created, no direct foreign direct investment excited to the country. We are almost going to 4 years in the presidency. He has not been invited by Washington D.C. Are they concerned about that? This is unprecedented. Even our interim president, all right, Washington laid down red carpet for them. I asked yourself why. Mr. Weah cannot go there, cannot be invited. His foreign minister cannot go. His speaker has got some problems. All right. So a lot of issues we are talking about. Who opened the door for the regime? How does the regime not stop foreign direct investment? When the oldest and biggest ally cannot invite you, are we concerned about that? Does that not raise a lot of questions? Then answer. You know. So look, the country has been misgoverned. And we will continue to muster the temerity of the citizens where you misgovern the country. All right? There is corruption, there's deception, because we are failing the people. His popularity has dwindled because of that. We saw what happened in the recent by-election. I agree there's a need for the opposition to buckle up and to be much more serious and vibrant and show vitality and stand up for the people. I also believe the people themselves should listen to people like us who come from advocacy background and revolutionary background and continue to fire their wings to stand up. All right? Because no opposition will do everything you want. No government will do everything you want. But if you let the government in power and the government failing you and the government defaulting on its promises, our people should muster the courage and stand up. They should listen to us. Then people talk about this. You try to be personal. I just even know, but I don't know what you say. I'm not going to respond to that. So I think I responded to the points. And again, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. You know, looking forward to the next issue. We're going to be here pretty much. I didn't have the opportunity to learn some of my points because the people planning to come and rip me apart. But never mind, I'm all right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Moncio Kpadeh. That's the voice of Mr. Kpadeh. He's the leader of the One People Revolutionary Movement. He's our guest here on the Opposition Perspective. We want to thank all our viewers for tuning in Our next program is on point, and you don't want to miss that program, Mr. CA. Thank you also for being the person you are, bringing and asking the tough political question. I'm glad to be here with you.
Thank you.
Dennis, as always, this is what we do. We always, have a great time here on discussion with Robert Moncio Kpadeh. Robert, week after next, we will be here to do it again. And the people say we should play tough because you are a tough guy.
Thank you.
That this is how discussion should be, free of insults.
Absolutely.
Everybody
Absolutely.
coming with their passion and tenacity. Folks,
Absolutely.
in cyberspace, we have to conclude the broadcast here, but let me read something for you to close. It is written by Robert Moncio Kpadeh. I don't know why he wrote this. He called it a song. Is he feeling the heat from the almighty presidency? Robert writes, I will not read everything because of time. And this is a song that he titled, Stand By Me, Lord. He writes, God with wealth. Let me put it here on the screen so I can see it better. He writes, God who ruled over the waters and the winds, the God to whom powerful angels bow and in whose name striking miracles happen. Stand by me. God who has dominion over life and death, creator of the pristine universe, full of intriguing wonders. Stand by me. When the tides come rising against me and the mention of my name sounds unpleasant to the ears of my brethren, be my friend and stand by me. Again, folks, because of time, I'm not going to read it. Go on his page and read it all. Robert, why did you write it? Is somebody coming after you and you calling on the Almighty for rescue? But Robert, don't answer. Let's close this show.
I'm a spiritual guy. I've written exhortations. I've written prayers. And I've written a song, another song being composed by me. I do that to honor God and to magnify God. But with this one specifically, in the heat of the COVID-19, we were
subjected. Robert, let's leave it there because of time. We have another program coming on. So we'll talk about that more in the next program.
Absolutely.
Folks, the song that said we are all Liberians, taking our home, enjoy the sun. And hey, we are coming back in the next maybe 10, 15 minutes. No, actually 5 minutes with the program on point. Hey, that one is a debate. You don't want to miss it. Bye-bye.
We are Liberians.